In China, this electric car costs less than half the price of a Tesla Model Y. Sounds like a steal, right? And it is, especially in China. Outside of China, it's getting a larger battery, an 88 kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate battery from BYD, which should give it a decent range boost. But as expected, it's going to cost significantly more than it does in China. The Hyundai Elixir is arriving soon, and we've finally got the specs, the details, and the official range figures. We've also got a pretty good idea about the pricing, and honestly, it might be a bit of a letdown for some. At least the initial online reactions aren't exactly thrilled with Hyundai, even though the official pricing hasn't been fully revealed yet. It seems like many people already think Hyundai is charging too much for their EVs. There's a growing sentiment that Hyundai's EV strategy might not work long-term. In the long run, because Chinese manufacturers are making better cars at lower prices. What do you all think about that? I'm curious to hear your opinions. Personally, I don't mind this car at all. I actually think it's pretty good, and in some ways, I like it better than some other EVs out there right now on the market. But based on the estimated pricing that we've been hearing, I think it's going to end up being too expensive for what it offers. But hey, you never know. Maybe it'll surprise us and come in at a more competitive price point. How big is it exactly? Well, it's basically the same size as a Kia EV5, so that gives you a good point of reference. Anyway, it's being built in China, which is interesting. So, unfortunately, sorry to our US viewers, you won't be seeing this one on your shores, but it's heading to a lot of other markets around the globe, so many of you will have a chance to check it out. It's being built by Beijing Hyundai, so that's where it's coming from. The Hyundai Elixir, that midsize electric SUV, will fit nicely between the Kona Electric and the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Pricing's a worry, especially since the Kona Electric in Australia is around $54,000, though cheaper in the US. $54,000 Australian is about $30,000 US, quite a difference. The Ioniq 5 typically sells for around $70,000, so if this new model is meant to fit neatly between the Kona and the Ioniq 5, it really needs to come in around $60,000 Australian dollars. At that price point, it's going to be directly competing with some pretty stiff competition like the XPeng G6, the Zeekr 7X, and of course the ever-popular Tesla Model Y. And let's be honest, those cars generally offer better specs and features. But anyway, before I get too carried away with price comparisons, let's take a closer look at some of the other details that we know so far. According to a dealer bulletin, this car is actually already in production, which is great news, and you can expect to be able to order it within the next few weeks. In fact, you can already buy them in China, and the starting price in China is quite attractive, coming in at just $16,500 US. Quoted for the shorter range version, but the longer range version in China is about $20,000 US. This new EV will have 160 kilowatt and 310 newton meters of torque. It's front-wheel drive, but the good news is it has an 88 kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate battery. That battery is going to provide 546 kilometers of range WLTP. Now, there is a smaller battery available in China, but that won't be coming to international markets. The length is 4,615 millimeters, which is 181.7 inches. It's 1,875 millimeters wide, just 73.8 inches. So actually, this car is the same size pretty much as a Geely X5 or a Kia EV5, or a little bit bigger than a BYD Atto 3, and it's actually pretty much the same size as the Ion V, which is going to be priced at around $45,000 US. A fair bit cheaper than this will be. Now in China, this vehicle is called the Hyundai EO, comes with a wide array of options to choose from, catering to different needs and preferences. The starting price is quite competitive, really giving the BYD Atto 3 a run for its money in the Chinese market at just $16,800 US or about $25,000 Australian. Now that price gets you the base model, which includes a 64 kilowatt-hour battery. And for just a few $1,000s more, right around that $20,000 US mark, you can upgrade to the long-range version, which is definitely worth considering. Plus, Chinese buyers have the exciting option of getting it in all-wheel drive, boasting a robust 233 kilowatts. That added power makes it noticeably faster, offering a more thrilling driving experience. The Elixir will... It boasts a generously sized 27-inch infotainment display, complemented by a remarkable 29 storage compartments, including a sliding privacy box for added convenience. Depending on the specific trim level, It offers an 8-speaker Bose sound system for an immersive audio experience, a panoramic sunroof to let in natural light, dual wireless phone chargers to keep your devices powered up, a hands-free power tailgate for easy access, a heated steering wheel and seats for those chilly mornings, ventilated and power-adjustable front seats for maximum comfort, plus advanced features like lane centering, navigation-based adaptive cruise control, Hyundai's blind spot view monitor, and a surround view camera with transparent chassis mode, all powered by 5 cameras, radar, and ultrasonic sensors. This marks a significant milestone as Hyundai's first EV built in China and sold in other markets. This Elixir will be Hyundai's first EV built in China and sold outside of China, allowing them to avoid the heavy tariffs typically imposed on Ioniq models imported from South Korea. South Korean EVs face pretty significant tariffs in. Honda is struggling in China, hoping this model revives the brand. At this price, it might sell. Many find the design ugly, but I don't mind it. The snow-white interior, though, impossible to keep clean. Honda's EV pricing is disappointing to some. This doesn't apply to the US, since in China, this EV is less than half the price of a Tesla Model Y, a great deal locally. Outside China, it'll have a larger battery, but cost significantly more. It's similar in size to a Kia EV5, made in China. Not sold in the US, but available elsewhere. It fits between the Kona and Ioniq 5. Pricing is tricky. It might compete with the X-Wing G6, Zeekr 7X, and Tesla Model Y. It's already in production. In China, prices start at $16,500 for the short-range model and $20,000 for the long-range version. It has 160 kilowatt power, front-wheel drive, and an 88 kilowatt battery with 546 kilometer range. The interior features a 27-inch screen, Bose system, sunroof, wireless chargers, and safety tech. Being built in China avoids tariffs. Some criticize the design, but I find it acceptable. Have access to all these different Chinese cars that the rest of the world can get. But I've got to agree with that. I think Hyundai's EV pricing globally, outside of North America, is too expensive. And I think they're going to struggle with their EV sales over the next few years unless they can bring their cars in at a more competitive price. That said, thanks for watching.